I'm the seed of a soul to the executive ruler, and I'm absolute to my people the way I maneuver. So through my fold for the circle 7 and scimitar, caught the gin in your bloodline, indigenous lord. I'm the seed of a soul to the executive ruler, and I'm absolute to my people the way I maneuver. So through my fold for the circle 7 and scimitar, caught the gin in your bloodline, indigenous lord. Supreme law, you know I'm reppin', man. And you rather see me white, black, and dressing all black. I'm 70,000, Swift angels ride camelback, full of materialized and forces 7 acts. And I'm magistrate mandate to be AGS, and I feel the trillings in the flesh, and nevertheless, and I know the best is yet to come through my DNA. God, body, pedigree, I'm just paving the way. It's all smoke and dirty moles in the afterlife. It's hellfire, torment, so devil's walk light. And when you move to and fro within my omnipresence, I'm man, Lord, ever present. So count your blessings, my ways and means and my methods. My sacred weapons, my muftis on deck, and they all stepping through all these L's and things, deific willing ways. We can raise a nation of 60 million from shallow praise.
Islam, 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 Islamism. But let us rise upon the 7 and give all praises to the great God Allah, our Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything. And I do mean everything that our holy prophet brought us to make us a nation. You know, I want to welcome our family again to another grand drawing. You know, on the manifest look like I'm lagging a little bit, but all is well. I know my family can hear the sound, you know, so all is well. What I'm going to do for right now, because it ain't necessary to be seen, we'll drop this drawing on the manifest so one is not distracted by the vibration of the sound itself outside of the pictorial reflection. So, yeah, we got a grand draw and we bringing in the manifest tonight, Moorish Ken. We got our beloved brother, Consul General of Texas, brother Marvin Evers Bay on the manifest, you know, representing part and partial, you know, the Moorish American government. And we here to bring our people the truth as always. And as you see, what is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You know, and so just dealing with that special title, you know, that's something to grasp for those who have wisdom. Think about it like this right here, family. Salam, brother Al-Sar Kufu. Peace and love, family, for tuning in. You know, and we're going to drop this link too as we go through this special measure so that our family can tune in, and you be more than welcome to come through the panel, brother, and give a measure, you know. So everybody welcome here. We welcome all of our family to come dialogue. So when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I can't help but think about also recognizing that in order to be, you know, one that becomes a great teacher, a leader, a guide, one must first be a student in order to become a great teacher, leader, and guide. So in other words, we have to have some time that we go through a process of germination, you know, in the soils of whatever school, you know, of thought that we come up under. Meaning a master teacher is one that we sit at the feet of. Sometimes I know in this new era and time, our people don't feel comfortable with coming into wisdom. If they feel that they got to come into wisdom, under somebody, listen to the tutelage, that's being demonstrated through the wisdom, knowledge, and the understanding that one brings. But all of us have been cared for by some master teacher or many master teachers in plural. So we encourage our family. This is a time where we learn from each other. Ain't no such thing as big eyes and small U's. But we got a grand drawing to bring on the Manifest family. And trust me, it's going to be well worth, what we had to bring forth. So I want to introduce my brother Marvin Edwards Bay, Consul General of Texas, and let our brother come forth and breathe on the masses. Then we're going to proceed with the show. And while you opening up, brother Marvin Edwards Bay, I'm going to be sharing this link so our family can get it. Islam.
Well, gratitude, God, man. Yes, family. I am Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay, Consul General of the Texas Consulate, rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah, giving the highest honors to his prophet, our prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Al-Haj Sharif Abdul Ali. Give high honors to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. Give high honors to our Act 1. I give high honors to all of our officials. Give high honor to this class, our committee in the depth, Heruphant meeting for instructions of wisdom to our family that's reaching out and teaching. So I mean, we're all seekers of the way, and it's just an honor to be here. And I give honors to everything that's Moorish, our flag, our seal, our emblem, our divine constitution, our Holy Quran, our Book of Ali, our 101, 102s, our Exhuman of a Nation, all of our divine revelations. I give honor to the forerunner, Dr. Marcus Mosaic Gabriel, as well as I give honor to the ancestors whom shoulders we stand upon. And honor to all of you Moors that's here on the manifest. And I'm sure we're going to gain a lot of wisdom. Because wisdom speaks out from the highest plane of spirit life. Islam?
Yes, sir. Islamism. That's right, brother. Indeed, wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. Yeah, I'm just dropping this link on some more of our family here, and we're going to get started in a minute. We ain't going to keep the family waiting, but we know it's going to be a few of our family members that's going to come up in this demonstration, and they will be on the panel if they see this as special measure. So, we just setting the drawing out here. This is going to be a powerful measure here. We want to remove all doubt today, brother Marvin Edwards Bay. When it comes to our people, some people believe that you deal with spookism when you talk about the great God. You know what I mean?
Islam.
They don't see the supreme reality of, God in the essence of the self. It's hard for our people to see that, especially after 500 some odd years of slavery, suffering, oppression, and so forth and so on. So we most definitely are on the manifest to make sure that our people can get a clear conception of, what our position is as far as when it comes to dealing with the supreme reality. And they can get a grand draw, and they don't begin to think like they going to church or something when we get in these, especially how the people are.
Yes, sir.
They think you're taking them to church or somewhere. Go ahead, brother.
Right. Well, I just want to say that I think it's a beautiful thing that that we have people here that's say open-minded, and willing to learn, to learn something different from what we've been learning. I put it like this: not learning, and we have been force-fed, all of our lives. And all of us have gone through this. But like the prophet said, this is a new era in time now. So we all have an opportunity to grow and be, what the great God created us to be. He didn't create us to be slaves, He created us to be thinkers. And this is what the prophet brought us. Everything it takes to save us as a nation of people. And when we come into the realization of this, then we can truly, enjoy what the great God has to offer us and what the prophet has brought us, because he brought us so much, you know. And the more we learn, the more we grow in this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, the more we can actually appreciate what the prophet brought. I mean, and regardless to what, all of the distractions, I mean, all of these, say, dirty Moors that's on the manifest today, all of the European, um, say, all of their conniving, all of their in the clandestine, because they had a time to rule, and but that's over with. I mean, it's our day now, so
That's
we
right.
so we should walk into this here, what I mean, gladly, what I mean, proudly, that's I just like to say that Islam.
Oh yeah, yeah. It don't get no plainer than that. I like the way you put that, brother. You know what I mean? And we in some real serious times now. I can say that right there. I know that for a fact. It is a lot, family, that is being demonstrated, and our people don't even know what's going down. Because they have been so misled by the media. They have been so misled by every wind of doctrine, so to speak, to where they don't know whether they are coming or going. And we don't say this to be like we looking down. You know, we are saying this because this is the truth, and we are here to uplift our people. We here to teach our people, lead our people, and guide our people. And so playtime has been over for a long time.
Yes,
So
sir.
we have a whole lot to offer to our people, but they themselves have to take a hold of what we have to offer to them, and be uplifted.
That's
You
right.
know, there is no supernatural act, by which man will be lifted, into the divinity. He has to go within the self and be a mastermind. And that's what this lesson gonna be about tonight. It's actually true east, you know, and I'm gonna have to go and edit that too. True east is within, so we circumnavigate to meet the grand Heruphant within. So that's the title. True
Okay.
east is within. So a lot of our people talk about going to the east and all this other stuff here, light come from the east and everything else. But where is this east that you are referring to? A true east is within.
Yes, sir.
So this is where you meet the mastermind. This is where you meet the Heruphants. This is where you meet the master teachers. This is where you meet the gurus. You know,
Yes,
this
sir.
is where you're able to draw strength, and saving power. Man, I mean, we can go on and on and on in regards to dealing with this in special measure. But our people from the show mistake. So we're gonna bring our people up from the realm of belief in the fruition.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna bring them up from belief into fruition with this special measure here that we getting ready. I'm just dropping a few more of these here, and we're just making it rain right now, Muslim. As soon as I get done, I will be sharing my screen, and so our family can tap into these drawings. So Islamism without the schism. So what I'm gonna do too, first and foremost, I'm gonna edit this title because I see it's supposed to be is within. Okay, let me say this here.
When the
And
student is ready, the teacher will appear.
oh, let me put this. We see my brother Jadam there. Okay, all right. Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, brother Marcus Fowler. Our brother asked us a question. Let me give some homage to our brothers too that's out here. Our brother Jay, salute that brother there. Our brother probably most likely come in on the panel in a little bit. Our brother say, where can I get started with learning the basics about being Moorish, and what videos or books should I get? Well, the videos are right here, my brother. This is the basics of Moorish. You know, this is the basic foundation, and we will be bringing forth different books, in different measures or whatever, so that you can have reference. In fact, one of the greatest books we're gonna bring up in a little bit is the Book of Fire.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, so the Book of Fire, the Book of Ali, the Circumnavigate, Moorish Holy Quran, all 70 chapters in chronological order. These are the books that's gonna give you the grand basics. The adept questionnaires and so forth and so on. You see, so this is a powerful demonstration. In fact, let me see something real quick here. Just give me 1 second. Anything you want to draw on, Brother Marvin Elber Bay? Just briefly,
Okay,
anything
this
you have.
on. This on. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Marvin.
Yeah. I was just thinking. He was talking about going within, and that's what makes it so beautiful. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to, go to no building. You know what I mean? You don't have to go to no church. You know, everything is right there within you, within the individual. You know, but we definitely have to purify our hearts and mind. That is to say, we have to remove all of that naught. I mean, all of that. I want to say ignorance, but I don't want nobody to take offense of that. But a lot of that that we've been taught is pure ignorance, and I've gone through the same thing myself. But as the prophet teaches us to study the self. So as we study the self, this is our way out. Because all of the answers are within. But we got to learn how to be honest with the self. Because I know for myself, I didn't be honest. I wasn't honest with anyone. I mean, you never know what I was thinking. But today, I say what I mean and mean what I say. So that's what elevates us. Because if we're, putting up barriers, you know what I mean, there's already a lot of falsehood on the manifest. So when we add to it, it just complicates things. But when we get, to the basics, that is being honest with the self, knowing that the great God is within us, knowing that we have access 24/7, and we are creators, and governors, because whatever we want, the great God will give it to you, quite as it kept. But you want to be able to create upon self. You want to be able to govern what the great God has given you. So that's why, you want money. I mean, all those things are of the manifest. All those things will pass, but we're looking for our reconnection because we have been taken away. Um, our connection to our ancestors, to our forefathers, has been, I wouldn't say severed, but it was blocked. I mean, we were hit upside the head, by this Western Freemasonry. I mean, because that's what their job is. That's the only way they can survive. Their existence is in our non-existence. But like I said, everything is within. All we have to do is, meditate. Learn to pray. I know when I first came in, like I wasn't too much into praying, but that's an intricate part of it. And all prayer is um, contemplating who the great God is, where He is. I mean, and how does He relate to me? You know, um, you know, this this European demonstration has taught us to look outside of ourselves. It taught us to look for preachers. You know, and all these things deter us from our freedom, and our freedom is within us. Prophet said He brought us everything to save us as a nation, but you got to take it and save yourselves. So that's the important thing, more is we got to take it and save ourselves. That's the beautiful part about it. No one,
Yes.
yeah. And one other thing, talk about that devil. That devil, when you want to look for your devil, look within, because he's there too. We were created with truth and falsehood, strangely mixed. Islam.
That's right. Islamism. We give honors to you, Consul General. Honors to you, hailing from the state of Texas. That's our brother Marvin Elvis Bay, Consul General of the state of Texas.
Gratitude.
Islam. We give honors to you, Grand Man.
Gratitude.
Yeah, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna open up, a little different, but in a way that we should, to give our people some of the basics. Because our brother asked a question in relation to dealing with how he can tap into the basics. So we finna demonstrate that here. And Brother Marvin Edwards Bay, if you would assist me with the questionnaire, the adept questionnaire here, more science, adept questionnaire, and we're gonna answer a few questions.
Yes, sir.
I just ask them and you answer them, and then they can get a draw and we'll move ahead. Islam.
Islam.
Yeah, so having already risen upon the seven, as we come in, breathing holy breath, we rise once again, giving praise to the great God Allah, Islamism, without the schism. All right, we may begin.
Okay, yeah.
Brother Marvin Edwards Bay, can you hear me?
Hold up. I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you see it? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. You first question, what is the science of the Moorish people?
Yeah, that's the one I want to bring forth, and I just want you to respond with the answer.
Okay.
As I go through.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What is the science of the Moorish people?
Answer. The science of the Moorish people is a power that exerts itself by the individual at the will of its user. Islam.
When is the power active? Islam.
When the Moor is fully conscious of himself. Islam.
Islam. What do knowledge of history and reliance upon Allah do for a Moor?
Islam. The knowledge of history and the reliance upon Allah supply a Moor with strength that he may act in the cause of justice. Islam.
Islam. What is this called?
As this is called functioning on all points. Islam.
Islam. How many degrees does each point represent?
Answer. Each point represents 72 degrees and is functioning with maximum efficiency.
Islam. Why do we Moors love the earth?
Answer. We love the earth because it is our home. It is our home as long as our bodies remain in its present form. We know the futility of trying to escape our environment. Islam.
Islam. What is our science?
Answer. Our science is a living manifestation. Islam.
Islam. Name some of the fields throughout the world that have been influenced by the Moors.
Islam. Answer. To name a few, we have navigation, medicine, agriculture, philosophy, mathematics, textiles, and architecture. Islam.
Islam. Question. Are food, clothing, and shelter, are food, shelter, and clothing the main jewels in a Moor's life? And this is a very important one here.
Answer. No. These are the last of 12. Islam.
Islam. What are the 12 crown jewels of life?
Islam. Answer. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, equality, food, shelter, and clothing. Islam.
Islamism. What did Prophet Noble Drew Ali say concerning the West?
Answer. The West must be paid. Pardon itself. The West must be made to pay their debt to the Moors. Islam.
Islamism. Question. What are the inherent factors in a Moor's nature?
Answer. Love of Allah, self, and fellow man, and all Allah's creatures, trustworthiness and fidelity in all affairs, peace always first and foremost, freedom and expression in all constituted in righteous acts, equality to promote the noble qualities of mankind. Islam.
Islamism. What is the symbol of Islam?
Answer. The olive tree. Islam.
Islamism. What is the emblem of Islam?
Answer. The crescent moon and star. Islam.
Islamism. What is the grand national seal of the Moorish people?
Answer. The logo circle 7. The circle is the perfect symbol. 7 is the perfect number. And Allah is the perfect word. Our national seal is the single expression of how the Moors are recognized. Islam.
Islamism. What is the scripture of Islam?
Answer. The Holy Quran and all books that contain truth for the guidance of man. Islam.
Islam. What is the Moorish national?
Answer. The morning star, the star of Solomon, the African god man. Islam.
Islam. What does the morning star symbolize?
Answer. It symbolizes the great God in man, as above, so below, and the spirit of a nation, both in moral rectitude and physical achievement. Islam.
Islamism. When did this banner come into orbit?
Answer. The banner sprang into orbit after the circumnavigation of Africa by the Moors over 100,000 years ago. Islam.
Islamism. Question. What type of star is the morning star?
Answer. The morning star is a 5-pointed open star.
Islamism.
Islam.
What does the singleness of the star represent?
Answer. It represents the oneness of humanity, which precludes the grand idea of monotheism. Islam.
Islamism. What are the points of the star called?
Answer. Pentagrams. Islam.
Islamism. What are the pentagrams?
They are an expression of the science that breathes into the thought of ancient Moors' mind, into the thought of ancient Moors' mind. Islam.
Islamism. What do these pentagrams describe?
Answer. They describe man's every phase of life in a single expression. For this cause, the infinite, I can't make that up, bro.
Yeah, line.
The infinite line of the circle also transcribes the never-ending openness of our pentagram.
Islam. When did the Moorish flag change from pure white to red?
Answer. When it reached the rate of atmosphere. Islam.
Islamism. And this is a lesson, as you can see, it is dated, from 1972. This is Elihu's lesson number 25. This is a lesson from 1972, brought forth by our Grand National Chairman, Dr. Acton Pert M. Heruphant, the Common Bay, known to some as Elihu Pleasant Bay, Swift Angel number 1, the number 1 defender, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the last living adept, who made us adepts in this new era in time. Yes, sir. We give honors to our Grand National Chairman for the work that he has done and the work he continuously do, being on the manifest. This is how we demonstrate that science. And this will lay the foundation. These are the basics that will give you some insight, family, those who are paying attention or those who are tuning in to where we are getting ready to go tonight. Because these going to be some grand drawings here. So, can you see my screen change, brother?
Yes, sir.
And you see the chapter dealing with the friendship of Yehoshua and Lamas?
Yes, sir. Yehoshua explains to Lamas the meaning of truth.
Okay, in Islam, we're going to go on a point-by-point basis. And we'll let you give us the readings. And then we'll go into certain measures as I bring pauses or intervals so we can explain certain things to our audience. Islam?
Islam. So
let me check my make sure I see my audience out here. Okay, brother Ray Sean Irvin, peace and love, family. Yes, sir. And we want to give honors to also our family, Sosa Shalom family. It's all love. Shalom. Peace and love. And also let me drop this here in here again. This is the link if you all would like to get on the panel and draw with us. All are welcome, family. Okay, so let me go back to our screen, brother, and we're gonna pick up peace, brother Charles, Warrior as well. Islam, grand man. All right, our family coming in. All right, brother, you may proceed, brother. Islam.
Islam. Okay. Elihu's lessons featuring Mathino's adept instructions. Okay, we got the definition of the thalamus.
Yes, sir. Islam. And that's the key. If you look at the title, it says chapter 2, the friendship of Yehoshua and Lamas. Yehoshua explains to Lamas the meaning of the truth. I just want to give some background on this. Now, Lamas was actually a master teacher himself. And that's why you see scrolling the bottom of the screen, you see when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You see, because though Lamas was the teacher, the student, actually became the teacher in this case. So in all actuality, the student was Yehoshua himself. And he asked Lamas, or rather Lamas asked him many questions, so to speak, and they went back and forth with each other. And you will see this, just like the questions was answered and we demonstrated a few minutes ago, we're going to get into a measure similar to that, and it's going to be a grand drawing. Now, notice that we are equating, Lamas so far as what we can see on the metaphysical level. We are relating this to thalamus, which this is the optic thalamus. You see, the Lamas, this is the seat, of man's intelligence, so to speak. Oftentimes you will see this in the form of the all-seeing eye of Heru and Kemet. You see all of those other things that surround, this is special seat of the intellect, and all of them work together in all actuality. But nevertheless, we are going to find that the Lamas, was already within the consciousness of Yehoshua. And we're not just dealing with one outside of the self. Okay, brother, you can go ahead with the preamble. Islam.
Okay. Preamble. Now, fallen human is the truth, God, the higher self, and falsehood, devil, the lower self, strangely mixed. Needless to say, this problem sometimes sometimes called the fix. What's that?
Yes, sir. Can.
I was just hearing some.
Okay, Islam.
Okay, sometimes called the fix. Can, will, and must be solved. Here as well as there. Many are the reasons why creative fate gave to man, spirit man, a soul. From the soils of soul, spirit man can harvest the nourishment of thinking, reasoning, willing, and remembrance. From these labors, she also obtains many goals. You know what? This is not as clear. I should have had another copy, but I'll continue. From these labors, she also obtains many goals from sheer understanding. For man to be as the source, even when whence he came, he must first become an adept. The reapings of this sacred garden yields the bountiful requisition called wisdom. Allah's education taught to his seed is called wisdom, and when spirit man acquires it, his graduate degree is called adept. Wisdom is the consciousness of man himself as God. Redemption of pure salvation is when the very gnosis of one's knowledge and intellect has been truly mastered inwardly by the individual. While it is true the soul, like a personal school of grades, is alike in all of us, yet wisdom is exclusively one's personal classroom, and can only be attained by you, the principal owner. For the record, how others attend their school, whether other men neglect or pull the weeds of their garden, has very little to do with your school's attendance. Who made you? Allah. When every an adolescent leaves childhood to attend the man, this is not working right. Attends the work of what life is truly spent to build, he or she no longer think like a child because the time has come when they must be about their father's work. Only an adept, one when you're gonna scroll it up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When a child becomes, because the time has come when they must be about their father's work. Only an adept, one who accepts the work and divine responsibilities of being God, can claim the adult status of a God man or goddess woman. The acquirement of wisdom is the work of our Father God, Allah. Like Friday is to Muslims all over the world, Moorish Americans are those servants who are duty bound to be about their Father's work. To build his temple above the neck is but one work man is called to do in order to save a maximum and guide the nations of the earth to Emmanuel.
Islam. We
Islam.
want to we want to revisit some measures in that special draw in there, brother. That's a powerful draw. Just the preamble now. This is just the preamble now. Now notice, when the chairman started out, he said, and we just gonna go on certain points. He said, many are the reasons why creative fate gave to man, spirit, man, a soul. You see, because in most cases, most of our people don't know that there's a difference between the spirit and the soul. But we know that the soul is nothing more than spirit vibrating not so fast. And that has to do with when we talk about thinking, willing, reason, understanding, remembering. How rapid are we in our thinking when it comes to pulling ourselves up? How rapid are we in our willing, our reasoning, our understanding, our remembrance? And notice that it says creative fate gave to spirit man a soul. You see? And this is so we could function upon the plane of soul. And that's what this demonstration is all about. The soul, according to our teaching, is found in essence in the seat of the intellect, the consciousness, the brain. You see, this is what a soul is. Islam?
Islam.
Yes, sir. And so it says, from the source of soul, spirit man can harvest the nourishments of thinking, reason, willing, and remembrance. There we go. From these labors, he and she also obtain many gifts from their sheer understanding. For man to be as the source from whence he came, he must first become an adept. Reapings of this sacred garden yields the bountiful requisition called wisdom. You see? And so Allah's education to his seed is called wisdom. And when spirit man acquires it, his graduate degree is called adept. So basically, an adept is one who becomes proficient and skilled, basically in being able to utilize their skill sets. We always talk about wisdom, will, and love. Wisdom speaking from out of the highest plane of spirit life. But this is all above the neck. You see? So the adept's first graduate degree, is coming into the realization of what it means to truly be adept. You see? That's a powerful measure. And let me draw with our family real quick. What you think about that, Brother Marvin Evans, babe?
Islam. Well, yeah.
I see our brother Jay trying to get in there too. So if he come back, it says devices are not connected. Brother Jay, connect your camera. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir.
Islam.
Yeah, you kind of like move stuff. Okay, yeah. Well, coming into the realization that the actions of the soul is the thinking, the reasoning, willing, the understanding, the remembrance. When we come into a full understanding of that, you know what I mean, and knowing that that's how we acquire the degree of adept, and as you was uh, mentioning that thinking, reasoning, willing, what came to my mind is that that's why we become swift angels because we swiftly think, we swiftly reason because we're going within. When one goes within, it's automatic because that's where the great God is. That's where we truly are. I mean, this is so beautiful because when one, really, really start going within, it becomes natural. It's a natural thing. You ain't got to work. You don't have to work that hard because you're being pure. You purify your hearts and minds, so you can tap into that source. You know, instantly, all the time. Islam.
Islam and gratitude for the measure. Yes, sir, brother. Grand draw. We see we got our brother Jay in the room. Islam.
Islam, brother. Peace to our brother Marvin. Misha Adet. You already know another draw, man. Ready to learn. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, Islamism, grand man. Yes, sir. And you already know you're more than welcome to draw. As we bring these measures to the manifest as well. So we definitely gonna keep it open in discussion as we move along. Because I think we can get more from our audience that way, as opposed to giving a long drawing measure and then going to the end. Ones can engage as we move along. Islam.
Islam.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back and we're gonna pick up on this preamble. There was another measure dealing with this drawing where the chairman spoke on the wisdom being the consciousness of man himself as God. See, a lot of people they think of God as some spook out, in the space, and we talk about this, but we deal with the reality of God here. And again, this deals with the consciousness of man. You see, if you ask many people who God is to them, they'll give you a whole bunch of different answers, million different answers. But rare you will find those who will say, well, this is God. The seat of consciousness in man is where God actually manifests itself. How do we know this? Because God works through man. You see? So wisdom, we are told again, is the only true salvation that each man must acquire for himself. And this is the holy breath. This is that self-mastery going within the self according to our preamble, right? And it says, while it is the true school, the soul itself is the true school, right, of the grades, and is alike in all, yet wisdom is exclusively one's personal classroom. So we are all grasping something from this school of learning, but the personal classroom of one's soul, only one can be a master in that special classroom. You see, this is where the professor-like work come into play at. See, there's a difference between a teacher instructing a professor, and we challenge our family to go look up the difference between those three different levels of education, so to speak. A teacher brings a measure forth, an instructor brings a measure forth, but a professor also has a work to be done. And you will find that the professor's work in all actuality has to do with allowing the student to have room for growth. So, man, it goes on. It says, for the record, how others attend their school, whether other men neglects or pull the weeds of their garden, has very little to do with your school's attendance. So in other words, you ain't got no excuse about how somebody else, how good they do or how bad they do in school, or whatever in the classroom. No matter what you think or what you will say about what somebody else is doing, it has very little to do with your attendance. Because at the end of the day, that's going to matter. Nobody else attendance is a factor of a matter, just like right now. Everybody that's in attendance in this special session, we demonstrate. This is on us. Who ain't here right now, and perhaps they'll get the message later. But those who are here now will have a clear conception of the work that they called to do because they already on the manifest getting the job done. So we the ones that's actually laying the foundation. You see? So it states, who made you? Allah. And you hear us say this all the time. It says, when every adolescent leaves childhood to attend the ordained work of what life is truly spent to build, he or she no longer think like a child because the time has come when they must be about my Father's work. And that's the key, family. We have to become the God man, the God master of Allah's nature. You see? That's a powerful demonstration. So what y'all brothers got to say about that measure on the panel, family?
Islam, Brother Jay, you can go.
Yes, sir. Islam.
My bad, guys. So one thing that stood out to me is just, knowing who God is, knowing that God communicates through man's consciousness. I think that information right there is something a lot of people who are in very orthodox ways of thinking don't understand, right? They'll say that's shirk right there. You're not God. Man isn't God. But they don't understand how God works through man. And I think that's a very important piece of information that you're breaking down because it's undeniable. Islamism.
Yes, sir.
Without the schism.
Yeah, well, a lot of people fail to realize, first and foremost, let's get it straight. A lot of the ones don't even know that the word God has always appeared, in the form and reference to dealing with man. You know what I mean? That's what they fail to realize. I mean, just to break down where they got it from, Gomar, Oz, Dubar, which is basically wisdom, strength, and beauty, and that Gomar, Oz, Dubar, G-O-D, Gomar, G, Oz, O, and D, Dubar, that's where they came up with the concept, especially when you get into the chambers of masonry. You'll see that. But when you go into the aspects of God on another level, to those who are dealing with things in the world, we always tell you that's government ordinance department. You see what I'm saying? So one is either under one or the other. But then when you go into the self and you deal with God in man, I mean, all you got to do is go into the Piscean records, where Yehoshua, our brother that they like to call Jesus, or called canonically Isa, they was getting ready to stone him, and he said, what for what? All the good works basically I brought to the manifest, why you want to stone me? I'm paraphrasing this. And they say, because you, being a man, you make yourself God. And he responded to him, he said, well, is it not written in your law that I said that you are gods? He said, and it's basically, this is basically to those whom the word of God came. And the scripture cannot be broken. He went so far to say the scripture can't be broken. He was actually quoting from the book of Psalms when it said, I have said that ye are gods, and all of you are children of God, the most high God, but you shall die like men. You see? So that's a whole nother measure. How can you be a child of God and still die like a mere man? You see? So when you get into the aspects of dealing with the concept of God consciousness, we are not talking about the flesh. The flesh, has a reflection, in, we'll say, certain aspects of expressing, the name of the Creator, but the essence of man is the true essence of the Creator, and that's spirit man. That spirit that he have in him is called Ruh in the Grand Quran, in the Holy Quran of Mecca. All they got to do is go to Surah 2, Ayat 115, and Surah 2, Ayat 112, and it'll tell you everything you need to know about the presence of Allah in man. We're not talking about placing the whole totality of the being of the creator in man, but we are saying everything in creation is the extension of that one great being that we call the great God Allah. We know the difference between shirk and the grand idea that precludes the monotheism, you know. So what it is that a lot of those ones that think like that, they've been taught from an exoteric level, and they are on an exoteric diet, and they can't understand the esoteric or the inner meaning of the teaching. That's why they say those things. You know, that's why they can't have a grand understanding of a connection between the creator and creation. Islam.
So,
Yes, sir. You got something you want to bring forth, Brother Marvin Everbay?
well, I tell you, I mean, this is a beautiful class, a beautiful topic, because it's talking about the reality of the great God. You know, when we can come into an understanding that we are, um, well, that we are created in the image and the likeness, and after the likeness of the great God. You know, when we come into this realization, the responsibility of saving ourselves, becomes very clear. I mean, it's our thinking, it's how we think, and it puts in perspective of what has happened, what has taken place. I mean, we were distracted. We were, I mean, it's really a sad situation, but it's the fact of the matter. I mean, this is where we are. But being, but coming to the realization that we are, in essence, spirit, that we don't die. I mean, we was here all the time, but we were put here in this physical form for a purpose. And then that when we come into that realization, then we look at life differently. We don't look at it as just something, I mean, that we just haphazardly go about. But it's something very specific that we have to do. We have to work on ourselves. And it's like, everybody, people may not know what you're thinking, but you know what you're thinking. And that's the most important thing. If you're allowing yourself to think, say, negative thoughts, then you lose. So you have to take the responsibility of thinking right, of acquiring that what it takes to think right. I mean, but this is such a beautiful thing because after, after time, and I say time because we know that time never was when man was not. But, I mean, after a certain degree of growing, of elevating one's consciousness, I mean, one can see how this is so perfect. I mean, because we are a conduit of the great God, each one of us. Like everyone here on this panel, we are all part of the great God. I mean, well, the whole world is in actuality, but we are taking an effort, a deliberate, say, stance, a deliberate position to recognize the truth, because there's been a lot of misunderstanding, misinformation, straight out lies. I mean, and so, but we have an opportunity to ascend, what I mean, with these teachings. Because the prophet brought us everything it takes to save us as a nation, because we are a nation of people. I look at it sometimes and I say, man, if we could just come together and, with one thought, we can save ourselves. But that's what it's all about. But we got to take the responsibility of doing that every day, purifying our hearts and minds on the regular, and I'm just so grateful for being here, being a part of this, because this is another opportunity for our people to grow. I mean, as a people, and I'm just grateful. Gratitude, Islam.
Yes, sir. And gratitude and Islam to you, brother. And I want to show our family something in reference to dealing with that, so that our family can have a reference. When I speak on what I speak on and I say certain things, and we give honors to our brother Jay, because we already know what our brother dealing with when he get out there and deal with a lot of our people, just like we deal with them. You know, a lot of our people, well, let's just say it's hard to give them, you know, Jews because they are so used to what they have been given. You see, and I want to show you something here, and I'm showing you this for a reason. Now, this is the eye of Heru, as they call it, the eye of Ra. It is known as the Wajet. If you look at it here, you see Wajet here, just in name. We ain't even worrying about the symbols here. We just want you to see certain things that are referred to. Now, this is the Arabic word that's equivalent to that, Waj. Now, the significance of Waj goes back to the same surah I was just quoting. Remember, I was talking about 112 and 115. And this is actually the commentary, you know, on that. And it tells you that the word translated presence is Waj, literally face. So it says, whithersoever that you turn, there's the presence of Allah. You know, where it says this at, to God belongs the east and the west, whithersoever you turn, there is the presence of Allah. See the 118 right there of God? For Allah is all pervading, all knowing. That's omnipresence. So the word presence is translated as face. So if this is the case, then the nearest place you can meet Allah is within the heart, like we tell you. So the presence of Allah is found in the essence of your being. This is where you are able to meet him face to face by going within. This is what the Quran say. This is the use of Ali translation. Oh, it get greater. Listen to what it goes into it further in definition. This is the Quran now. It says the word translated self is waj, a comprehensive Arabic word. It means literally face, but it may imply countenance or favor, as in, and it goes giving you, you know, the different numbers. You know, that's like 90 something, I want to say, if I ain't mistaken. You know, but anyway, it goes on and it states honor, glory, presence as applied to God, as in they give you Surah 2, 115, as I quoted that earlier. Perhaps also, you know, it gives it to you. It's showing you everywhere in the Quran, you know, that you can actually find this demonstration. You know, the cause, sake, for the sake of, as in, first part, the beginning, you know, nature, inner being, essence, self, as in. Perhaps here also it says, here I understand, meaning the face expresses the personality or the whole inner self of man. So when you say there is the presence of Allah, this is the word that is using. Watch. But that word goes all the way back to Kemet. It's talking about the inner self, the person, the persona of man himself. That's the consciousness of God and man. This is in the Quran, family. You know? Actually, I want to show you something else right here. Matter of fact, there it is right there. Nay, whosoever or whoever submits his whole self, that word waj is used. Remember, that's inner self, the whole inner self of man. And we call this conforming to the will. Whoever submits his whole self to God and is a doer of good, the doer of good is what they call mushinun. You see? It says he will get his reward with his Lord. On such shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. For the ones who don't know what the word mushin is the third degree of accomplishment after becoming what one like to call a Muslim. You know, so you go from Muslim to mu'min to mushinun, a doer of good deeds. So it's saying here that whosoever submits, right? It says his whole self to God. So that's the real meaning of what they call Islam. Submitting the whole self to God. In other words, becoming one with God through deific will. And is a doer of good. It will get his reward. You know? So this is powerful, family, in and of itself. There's another measure that I would like for our family to see, and I actually have it here. You see my change on the screen here, Brother Marvin Edward Bay?
Islam, yes, sir.
So you already familiar with this here. we was giving our family a lesson in the language, and we were showing that a lot of people don't know that word Allah go all the way back to Kemet. You know, the glyph actually comes from Kemet, and a lot of it, like you see here, these are actually expressions on where the Arabs got this from. That's Demotic script in Kemet, family. They got the glyph for Allah from there. And this is an expression of Ah, you know, which is, you'll see it spelled often A, and H. Ah, you know, but it's also expressed as Iyah. And the I is interchangeable with the Y. Yah. Why is all this necessary? I, Yah, Yah, La. Because La is also an expression for this measure in Kemet. So Ah and La is present in this special measure. How? Because the letter R in ancient Kemet is interchangeable with the letter L. So Ah having the Ra or the La here, Allah. You see? Notice there's an arm here with the eye of Herum in it. You see, or the eye of Ra in it. So notice I pointed out in Arabic again, Waj Allah, in Egyptian, Wajet. The whole inner self of man, the eye of Ra, and Heru, the omnipresence of God in man. Then I show you here, it says face of Allah. And then it says Waj Allah. This is the transcendent essence of everything, or inner reality of each entity. Wherever you turn, there is the face, reality of Allah. And I quoted the Quran again, Surah 2, Ayat 115. So what we see here, even in semblance of man standing between two pillars, and this is a symbol of Ta. Ta is where the teachings of Ptahhotep come from. Ta was the creator deity. And Ta and Ah is synonymous with each other. So a lot of the Kemetic teaching, actually, you can see, went straight over into the Quran itself. Because the Quran originally was written in Mudah. So when we talk about God in man, we're talking about the omnipresence of God in man. Because God is working through each and every one of us to uplift somebody, just like he worked through somebody to uplift us. So you see the arm here. See, that's the Ah. Just like you see it. It's the same image I just showed you a few minutes ago, but another bust of it. See, Ah here and La, Ara. That's the I right there. Same thing. Allah. Ra. You see, the R is interchangeable with the L. You see? So this is really talking about the light. Now watch how deep this gets. R plus La, R, L plus R, Allah, right? And then you see the symbol as it's demonstrated for La here, right? Now watch this, what it states. It says, thus was it. It says that the letter A became so sacredly associated with the idea of deity, who it said was himself called A-L, Allah, the generic supreme name of God as worship among the eldest patriarchs. And this is coming from Hebrew, you know, family. That's what it's translated from. It says the life of Allah, God, was the life that the true Alias always desired to cultivate and to lead. Hence, Aliism, or the life of God in the soul of man, was the most ancient mode of religion. You see? Right there. And how do we confirm this as we move on? Right here in the Quran itself one more time again. Remember, the question was asked in the questionnaire that we went through, me and the brother Marvin Edwards Bay, what is the symbol of Islam? The olive tree. Now, olive come in many different hues, from the darkest of the dark or the ripest of the ripe to the lightest of the light. You know, and this is basically the hue and the complexion of our people. So the olive, if you refer to the 101s, it tell you that the skin or the complexion of the Asiatics and the angels, you know, they are olive. This is referring to our people being melanated, but the olive is also symbolic to on a very spiritual level. And it's mentioned here in the Quran. So it says Ra is the root of the Arabic word Nara, the same word where La comes into play. Nur is what they call it in Quran. So this surah is called Surah Al-Nur. That's Surah 24, Ayat 35. Nur equals Ruh Allah, Rah Allah. You see, the light of Allah in man. So it says Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. What does this mean? The heaven is above the neck. This is the adept chamber. You see, where one has to think. You see, and it states the parable of his light is as if it were a niche, and within it a lamp. And I got the example of the niche and the lamp here. See, the niche represents Ka, which is the soul. You see the arrow pointing to it. The lamp represents Ba, which is spirit. So the niche is supporting the lamp, the light, so to speak. You see? But then it says the lamp is enclosed in a glass. And you see this lamp enclosed in the glass, right? And you see the symbol up here, lamp enclosed in the glass, right? Because we're trying to give our people some pictorial reflection to get an understanding. And it states that the glass, as it were, a brilliant star lit from a blessed tree, an olive, neither of the east nor of the west. Remember, it said it's not, it don't matter whether you turn toward the east or the west. Wherever you turn is the presence of Allah. You see? So the light of Allah is ever present. First and foremost, above your neck, the heavens. What is the earth? The mere aspect of the body. So when we say Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth, we're saying that the divinity, the spirit of Allah within you is the light of the body. You see? But it says, lit from a blessed tree, an olive, neither of the east nor of the west. There are no limitations that you can place on this olive tone, this angelic, we say presence, so to speak. It says, whose oil is well nigh luminous, though fire scarce touch it, meaning fire barely touching it, light upon light, Allah doeth guide whom he will to his light. Allah doeth set forth parables for men, and Allah doeth know all things. And it says here, 24:36, lit is such a light in houses. The house is really dealing with man. You often hear it said, within my Father's house there are many mansions. And so it is with us. If we represent a house of the creation, then the mansions represent the many different dimensions of us being able to tap into that divinity. You see, it's us, family. It says, lit is such a light in houses which Allah has permitted to be raised to honor for celebration in them of his name. Now, some people think that this is just referring to a masjid, or this is referring to the holy city of Mecca, just a particular building where you go. But the house that Allah has permitted to be raised to honor is one who has become righteous in their thoughts and elevated beyond the plane of things made manifest. So it says, in them, in the house, he is glorified in the mornings and the evenings again and again. So this goes into the self. When one gets into a state and they're thinking, they're willing, they're reasoning, they're understanding, their remembrance is in a state of cyclic process. And this is always basically remembering and thinking along the lines of dealing with the great God. This is what they call the remembrance of the Allah in Sufism. So when you are constantly in remembrance, you are constantly in the proximity of Allah, and that's where we want to be. Where Allah becomes a place, of being, a state of being, as opposed to a state, outside of the self where one is trying to find, what they call, spookism. No, we showing you that God is within. And so last but not least, in the same breath, this is that exalted ray. Because the word ray and ra in Arabic, this is where the word ruh come from. But notice these words ra also go back to ancient Kemet, which deals with the spiritual light. See, the light equals ray, the spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. Alif, lam, lam, alif, ha. Arm, leg, arm, head. This is basically man. The glass, Sahu, represents flesh divine. You see? So this is when the aura of that light is shining from the essence of your being to the outer. from the center to the outer bounds, family. So that's the real meaning. When we go into talking about this, and Marvin Elvis Bay got this on his page. Now watch this. This is where I'm finna get back into our other measure. Look at what it says. It says Ibn al-Arabi, which is a well-respected respected scholar, especially among the Sufis, or those who demonstrate what is called tasawwuf. It said presupposes the absolute identity of God and man, and al-Jili introduces a subtle difference of level between God's and man's attributes, right? So it goes on, it says, God made this name, Allah, a mirror for man, so that when he looks in it, he knows the true meaning of God was, and there was naught beside him. It says, and in that moment, it is revealed to him that his hearing is God's hearing. His sight is God's sight. His speech is God's speech. His life is God's life. His knowledge is God's knowledge. His will is God's will. His power is God's power. And that God possesses all these attributes fundamentally, right? And then he knows that all the aforesaid qualities are borrowed and metaphysically metaphorically, which is the same thing, basically, applied to himself, whereas they really belong to God. So when you go into a state of self-denial, you get into a selfless degree instead of a selfish degree, you come into a state and you realize that you borrow this special body that we call flesh, but it really belonged to the Creator. You see? And this is all, they basically building on a hadith. Because there was a hadith where Muhammad said, when Allah loves a believer, he was talking about how Allah will declare war against one who shows hostility to a pious worshiper of his. And he said that one come close to him through doing good deeds. That's that Mushinun again. And they also come closer to doing extra worship, that which goes beyond just being what's known as obligatory, what he's supposed to do anyway. He's saying when you go that extra mile, he gonna give you his all, but he say he become your eyes in which you see, your ears in which you hear, your hand with which you grip, your leg with which you walk. That's arm, leg, arm, head. The great God Allah using man as a vessel to carry out his works. Not that he has to, but it's an honor for man if he but knew to be chosen for such a task. Ain't got nothing to do with no shirk. This is the reality of the Supreme. So we give honors to you, brother Jay, for that drawing. We wanted to put that out there in support. So next time you run across them ones, you got a lot of ammunition for. Islam,
brother.
Yes, sir. And you want to bring forth a measure, brother, in relation to dealing with that drawing?
Real quick, I need to jump out and jump back in so I can switch devices. I'm gonna jump right back in, bro.
Okay, Islam. And we're gonna let our brother Marvin Edward Bay come forth then. Islam, Consul General.
Islam.
Gratitude, grandman.
Yes, sir. Very powerful, very powerful. It just makes it so plain. For me, because I'm working on myself every day. All day. Still, going about, the usual routine, interacting with people, on the manifest. But like the thing that you're talking about, finite mind can't comprehend, So that's why we have to elevate our consciousness to a level to where, we can see, we can, understand what is being said. And we take it, not lightly. See, brother,
that's right.
Bati Bey on the scene.
Oh, yeah, Islam. Yeah, Islam to the brother Bati Bey, too. We give honors to the grand man, Consul General of the state of Iowa. Islam. Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. It's just so beautiful, to be, conscious to the level to where you can see that you and the great God are one. You know, and all we need to do is just share this. You know what I mean? Speak it. You know, because the spirit of the great God is there all the time. You know, it may not be say readily recognizable for one because it takes time. I keep coming up with that time, but it takes vibrational degrees. I put it like that, um, for one to actually recognize this this force, which is the great God Allah, which is the only thing that animates anything and everything. You know, so just being in line with it. You know what I mean? That's all we gotta do, and it's not hard really because it's natural. When you become, when you see that it's natural, it's easy for you to do. You know what I mean? You want to do what's right, and you want to purify your heart and mind. You want to clean your act up, so to speak. I see Jay ready to.
Oh yeah, Islam, yes sir. We give honor to you and honors to the brother Fisher Millman, from the MST of A. Hailing from the Grand Major Temple #1. We give honors to you, Grand Man. Peace and love, family. Yes, sir. See what I'm saying? We got all our family up in this demonstration, showing love. And remember, family, you're more than welcome to come up here on this panel. I'm going to drop this link on y'all again if you want to come in here, and just give a few words to the family and breathe on them. Islam. Let us see what our brother Jay had to bring forth to us. Islam.
Islam, brother. Well, as you've seen, I just dropped those surahs that you referenced in the chat, just for everyone else to check out for themselves, that aligned with exactly what you was bringing forth. So we got Surah 2, verse or ayat 118. The ignorant say, why does Allah not speak to us? Why does no sign come to us? The same was said by people before them. Their hearts are all alike. So there you go. That reference to the heart that you mentioned before is right there in the verse. We have made the signs clear for people of firm faith. We sent you with the truth as a bearer of good tidings and a warner, and you will not be answerable about the people of the blazing flame. So I just wanted to throw that in there to affirm, what you were saying, because the verse definitely aligns with it, especially on the measure about the heart. Their hearts are all alike. These people who have no consciousness or awareness of that consciousness within them are all alike. So I just have my Quran open. I wanted to bring that forth, and so we could study it together and get some clearer understanding.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And just to give you a whatchamacallit too, I had the Yusuf Ali version. And so the commentary was 118, but the surah was one, and that's still grand what you brought forth, but the surah was surah 2, ayat 115 and 112.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the exact measures, but that's still powerful what you brought forth. That's why I put it up there so the family could see it, boldly, brother. You know what I mean? That's a powerful demonstration. But yeah, it's all about the heart because we are the sign. We are the sign for the clear people, that's firm in faith. Man himself is the sign, or what was referred to in Kemet as the ayat netter. You know what I mean?
Islam.
Yes, sir. What you think about those comedian expressions, brother, that prove the existence of the name of the great God Allah?
Yeah, so for me, I'm not adept in that measure, bro. So when you bring that up, I just absorb it, because I have to learn. You know what I'm saying? These are things that are new to my eyes. I've come across the content before because I watch your shows.
Yes, sir.
But I'm still like in that space, just like a lot of other spaces. I'm not sharp. So I just learn from you.
That's right. Islam, and we put it out there, to show the people just the origin of where things come from, and that's the thing. We retain, a certain amount of information when we come into these settings. And then when we come back and go through them again, we retain, even more. You know what I mean? And so we don't always get the fullness of it at the time, but yeah, it all unfolds when it's said and done. That's why we use that hammer of repetition. Islam.
That's right. Islam.
Yes, sir. Gratitude. I'm gonna go back to our drawing up here, and we're gonna go through some of these ayats here. And
Let's do
Brother
it.
Marvin Ever Bay, you ready?
Islam. Yes, sir.
Islam isn't. Go ahead, Grand Man.
You want me to? What do you want me to do?
Well, actually, we can actually,
Or what?
well, we can actually go into this measure, because we were talking about the friendship of Yehoshua and Lamas, and Yehoshua explaining to Lamas the meaning of truth. Remember, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's our theme.
Right,
So
right,
we find that one was a mastermind, was actually willing to study up under the student, you know,
right, right.
and I actually we can do it like this right here. I'll go through and read it like I normally do, and we'll break down this drawing.
All
But it
right.
says in Ayat 1, for example, it says, among the priests of Juggernaut, it says, one who loved the Jewish boy. Lamas Brahmas, right? Lamas Brahmas, it says, was the name by which the priest was known. One day, as Yehoshua and Lamas walked alone in the plaza of Juggernaut, Lamas said, my Jewish master, what is truth? And Yehoshua said, truth is the only thing that changes not. In all the world, there are two things. The one is truth, the other is falsehood. And falsehood, that which seems to be. Now, truth is aught and has no cause, and yet it is the cause of everything. Falsehood is naught, and yet it is the manifest of right. Whatever has been made will be unmade. That which begins must end. All things that can be seen by human eyes are manifests of aught, are naught, and so must pass away. The things we see are but reflexes just appearing, while the ethers vibrate, and so, and when the conditions change, they disappear. The holy breath is the truth, right? It's truth, that which was and is and evermore shall be. It cannot change nor pass away. Lama said, you answered well. Now what is man? And Yehoshua said, man is the truth and falsehood strangely mixed. Man is the breath made flesh. So truth and falsehood are conjoined in him. And then they strive, right? And naught goes down, and man as truth abides. Again, Lamas asks, what do you say of power? And Yehoshua said, it is a manifest. It is the result of force. It is but aught. It is illusion, nothing more. Force changes not, but power changes as the ethers change. Force is the will of Allah and is omnipotent, and power is that will and manifest directed by the breath. There's a power in the winds, a power in the waves, a power in the lightning stroke, a power in the human arm, a power in the eye. The ethers cause these powers to be, and thought of Elohim, of angel, man, or other thinking things directs the force. When it is done its work, the power is no more. See, that's the key right there. The ethers cause the powers to be, and the thought of the Elohim, of angel, of man, or other thinking things directs the force. It says again, Lamas asks of understanding, what have you to say? And Yehoshua said, it is the rock on which man builds himself. It is the gnosis of the aught and of the naught, of falsehood and of truth. It is the knowledge of the lower self, the sensing of the powers of man himself. Again, Lamas asks of wisdom, what have you to say? And Yehoshua said, it is the consciousness that man is aught, and that Allah and man are one. That naught is naught. That power is but illusion. That heaven and earth, hell, are not above, around, below, but in, which in the light of the aught becomes the naught. And Allah is all. Lamas asks, pray, what is faith? And Yehoshua said, faith is the surety of the omnipotence of Allah and man, the certainty that man will reach deific life. Salvation is a ladder reaching from the heart of men to the heart of Allah. It has 3 steps. Belief is first. This is what man thinks perhaps is the truth. And faith is next. And this is what man knows is the truth. Fruition is the last. And this is this is man himself the truth. It says belief is lost in faith, and in fruition faith is lost, and man is saved when he has reached deific life, when he and Allah are one. So you see the 3-step ladder here: belief, faith, and fruition. We come from a state of thinking what truth is to knowing what truth is, and from knowing what truth is to being what truth is. Belief, faith, and fruition. You see, we're talking about the omnipotence of Allah and man. All of this is basically showing you that though we come forth in this physical vessel, we are really an extension of the divinity that has always been known as God consciousness. Islam. So what I want to do is see what our family have, to draw in regards to dealing with that measure. Islam?
Hey, real quick, we heard you. We got the message, but I'm not sure if you meant to share your screen.
I did, but it's okay. It's
okay.
even better to hear it. So gratitude. Islam.
Okay, and what source is that? Because I wanted to follow along with it.
Well, that's out of the Quran.
That's the Moorish Holy Quran.
Okay.
That's the chapter dealing with Yehoshua meets Lamas. And let me show it to you right here. And I thought I was actually showing it, but it's all right. It's okay.
Meaning of truth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because, like I say, I know you got to draw it.
So,
okay.
And in our Moorish Holy Quran, this is basically chapter 11. So and we'll keep it here. So is there a drawing that you would like to bring forth just on what it is that might have caught your ear? Anyone want to bring a measure to the manifest?
There was some that caught my ear, but usually, like me, I'll copy and paste it. So I heard it,
right,
or I'll write it down. Honestly, I'm not taking notes tonight because I got a few books open. But usually I would write it down. I heard something. It was referencing when Yehoshua said that man and Allah are one in the consciousness, something like that. I don't know if you could find that line for me, but that one caught my ear.
Yeah, you're talking about Yehoshua said, faith is the surety of the omnipotence of Allah and man, and certainty that man will reach deific life. And it talks about also, basically, Yehoshua said is the conscience of man is all, and that Allah and man are one.
That one right there, that's right.
You know what I mean? So, he is not above, around, below, but in. You see? And so this is the key of what we're trying to show our people. We going beyond. Now notice that Yehoshua was supposed to be taught by Lamas the Brahmas, but he ended up being the teacher to Lamas. You see? Just by the questions that were asked, he received a grand lesson. You see? This was a teacher that was still willing to be a student. And that's how we have to be. Always willing to grow, always willing to unfold, never willing, a state of being not willing to unfold, so to speak. We don't never want to be at that level. To know is to know that we don't know. And the more we know, the more we grow. You see what I'm saying? Islam. Yes, sir. Brother Marvin Everbay, you want to pick this portion here up?
Islam. You want me to speak on it or read something?
Yeah, you can give a drawing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Then you can read this portion once you're done.
Oh, okay. Well, when you went through this, I was looking at it. We have a lesson from this called the meaning of truth, and and I was just speaking with a goddess the other day concerning this particular ayat, this ayat 5. Now, truth is art, and has no cause, and yet it is the cause of everything.
That's right.
Falsehood is not, and yet it is the manifest of right. And I thought that was very powerful. You know what I mean? That everything that happens, it it happens because the source is the great God. It's the only reality. And man, he's the one that causes all of the the negative you know manifestations or whatever. He uses God's laws and force and power and creates a bunch of mischief. And people want to say, well, if there's a God, why did he let this here happen? That's man. You know, man does
Hmm.
all that shit.
That's right.
So
That's
that's what
right.
I just want to speak on that.
Yeah, that's a powerful measure. You're right, brother. And that's what I keep saying. It's man because and what it is, they trying to blame the great God Allah for giving them free will.
Right.
Islam.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
God, you created good and evil, so why you let us demonstrate the evil if you
Hmm.
didn't want us to do it? And so that's basically somebody that don't know themselves, and they ungrateful, basically. Like I tell people all the time, an atheist ain't nothing but somebody that don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in the God within themselves. Islam?
So
Islam.
Yes, sir. Anything you brothers want to go for with before we go into this other portion?
I'm good.
All right. Well, all right, brother Marvin Evans Bay, you got it. This little portion here, and then we'll go into it. Go ahead, Islam.
Okay, let us make man adapt.
Yes, sir.
Islam. There are reasons why creative fate gave to man's spirit man a soul. From the soils of soul, spirit man can harvest the nourishments of thinking, reasoning, willing, and remembrance. From these labors, she also obtained many gifts of understanding. The karmas of this sacred garden yields the bountiful requisition. Wisdom is the only true salvation, where a man must acquire. True wisdom is the yeah, okay, how to make this out. True wisdom is the consciousness of man himself as God. Indeed, this holy breath, redemption, or salvation is when the very gnosis of one's knowledge and intellect has been mastered inwardly by the individual. Now, man is the truth, God, the higher self, and falsehood, devil, the lower self, strangely mixed. Needless to say, this problem, sometimes called the fixed, can and will be solved here as well as there. While it is true, the soul, like a personal school of grades, is alike in all. Yet wisdom is exclusively one's personal classroom and can only be activated, uh, pardon self, can only be attended by you, the principal owner. For the record, how others attend their school and may neglect or pull the weeds from their garden has very little to do with your school's attendance. Nothing nor no one can make man conscious of himself as God but man. First master question: who made you? Allah. The great God does not have birthdays or beginnings of time. Only an adept, one who accepts the work and divine responsibilities of being God, can claim the adult status of God man or God woman, also known as goddess. Man himself is the truth because he himself is love. Truth is honest. Now, because he is honest, oaths are unnecessary. True man is not saved by organized rituals, oaths, and promises to the mere orders of man. As long as you want me to keep going?
Yes, sir. To that last piece, and we got you.
Okay. Okay, the acquirement of wisdom is. Oh, man, hold up. I got my monitor on my TV and it just blinked out on the board.
Islam.
I'll pull it back up right quick. One moment. Okay, here we go. The acquirement of wisdom is the work of our Father God Allah, like Friday is to Muslims all over the world. Okay, it's brother's banner is up here, Charles Worrell, so I can't see.
Okay, let me scroll them up for you.
Oh, okay, good. Your assignment is study, learn, become a master of the 12 highlighted words in our Holy Quran, chapter 11, chronological order. Become the answer to these 12 questions, master the assignment, and become the adept you are made to be. And I'm sure you're talking about these um, highlighted words: truth, falsehood, the holy breath.
Yes, sir. Every last one of them. That's exactly what he's saying. But if you notice,
Mm-hmm.
you know how masterful this measure is, the chairman brought out. You know, this is the level through which one is able to become the adept of the self. You know, and basically, once you come to this special level, you understand, like he said, your divine work and responsibility.
Yes, sir.
You know, and so each and every one of us have the same 25 and 7 hours in a day. And that's our language there. We don't say 24/7, we say 25 and 7. You know, but we have this time to be able to cyclically, so to speak, master ourselves. You remember, he said that true man is not saved by organized rituals and oaths and promises to mere orders of men. You see, this is a powerful draw. And what have you brothers to say in regards to dealing with that?
Talking about me?
Oh, both of y'all. I mean, either or. Oh, man, I love to hear from
Well,
both of you, brothers. Islam.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can go and let's. Jay, want to go first?
I have a short little measure to provide.
Yes,
I
sir.
really liked the part where it says, well, I'm paraphrasing, soul is alike in all, yet wisdom is exclusively one's personal classroom. So to me, the way I interpret that is we were all provided with a soul, but the wisdom within is yours to cultivate. Like you actually have to put in the work to manifest that or bring that to fruition or to cultivate it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's work that you have to do within yourself. The soul is provided for you, but that wisdom, you have to put in the work for it.
That's right. That's right. It don't get no plainer than that. You know,
Sure.
so once we understand that we have to put in that work, you know, to get to that level, you know, going from a state of belief in the faith and fruition, you know, then we understand why we say wisdom speak from out of the highest plane of spirit life, you know, because this is you in your higher self really coming to lift up yourself from the muck in the mire. That's powerful though. You know, it is work. This is work, enough work for all of us to do, per se. I'm gonna show you something. And again, like the brother said, these are the 12, you know, questions that were asked. Say, man is never saved by being hoodwinked into organizations, rituals, secret oaths, and sworn promises to Western orders of men. If man knows, he must now be what he knows. Student ministers of divinity, your assignment is to study, learn, and be the master of the 12 highlighted words above in your chapter 7. All answer to these 12 questions must come from purity of your heart and mind. Master this assignment and become the adept you were made to be. What is truth? What is falsehood? What is holy breath? What is man? What is power? What is force? What is understanding? What is wisdom? What is salvation? What is belief? What is faith? What is fruition? These are all questions that we have to ask ourselves. See, we find out that Lamas that was asking the question to Yehoshua was really the higher consciousness of Yehoshua speaking to his lower self, speaking to his flesh, speaking to his manifest form. You see, all this consciousness took place between Yehoshua and his higher self. That's a powerful measure, ain't it, family?
That's right.
Yeah. Now watch this. It says your Moorish American government proudly recognizes you. It says the fruition of your answers above. We now affirm, pardon self, you are love, a deific adept, and the meaning of truth. Praise Allah. Welcome home, Master. So here's actually a depiction of Jagannath. And so you know what was being referred to in the chapter. There's some deep wisdom just behind dealing with Jagannath, because it actually shows the temple here, right? The temple of Puri in Hinduism, the form of Krishna worship in Puri or Orissa. It says where in the annual festival, his image is dragged through the streets on a heavy chariot. Devotees are said formerly to have thrown themselves under its wheels, formerly called Juggernaut. Pronunciation, Jagannatha. Origin, via Hindi, from Sanskrit, Jagannatha, Lord of the world. You see, now this chariot is referred to in the Moorish teachings as the empty cart of Krishna. You see what I'm saying? But notice, and it says that this empty cart pulls along a soul that has no altar fires. You know, and a soul that has no altar fires is a soul that has not the spirit to dictate it according to the principles of divinity. You see? The spirit is the fire that burns upon the altar of the soul. Islam.
Right.
That's a powerful measure. So I just wanted to bring that in reflection. So since we are talking about the lamas and we went into the center, we talked about, you know, that which is at the center of one's thinking, the seat of intellect. This is your God spot. You see? And in your God spot, it has no discriminative thoughts based on what one believes, you know, based on, you know, where one is along the way, you know, that ain't got nothing to do with it. You just looking for the truth. And so when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You see? So, you know, people often talk about what they call a soft spot, you know, in the top of the head or within the head. That soft spot has to do with the place of intellect where you are willing to hear without your passions. Islam. Notice it says how the brain makes, the mind shapes all forms of faith. That's powerful. Islam. Anybody want to bring something forth on that?
Maybe not on that, but on something like prior to, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother. All is
So,
well.
all right. So back to maybe where we were just a couple minutes ago. The measure you brought forth, where it says, "Man is truth, God the higher self, and falsehood, devil the lower self, strangely mixed." I want to comment on that just to bring forth that, you know, that information right there is something that's very empowering, but at the same time, it holds us accountable.
That's
Like
right.
yep. So like you were speaking about how, you know, a lot of people, they want to take the good, but they don't want to take the bad of having free will. This information, this knowledge of self right here, puts you in the hot seat, but it also empowers you. So I really like this. You know, man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed. God, the higher self, devil, the lower self. You possess both. It's on you.
That's right. That's right. You got to tap into that God spot. Islam. It's a frequency. You know, if we go into the frequency of God, we ain't got to worry about tuning into the frequency of the lower self. We're going to drown that demonstration out.
Mm-hmm.
Islam. All
Islam.
right. What about you, Brother Marvin Edwards Bay? Hold up, let me see. Is our brother still on the manifest? He may have
No,
kind of
no,
stepped.
I was talking, but I had muted myself.
Okay, go ahead, Grand Man.
Pardon about it. Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's like our ancestors, man. We walked the earth more God than human. I mean, and we could do that today. I mean, just stay focused. I mean, and elevate our consciousness. And as we elevate our consciousness, we can be in our higher self continually. I mean, taking whatever comes, you know, and adjusting and conquering it, or however you want to put it, just mastering it and just being ourselves. But the brother got some powerful understanding though.
Oh
That's good.
yeah, oh yeah, most definitely, man. We give honors to our brother Jay, man. That brother there is definitely, yeah,
Appreciate
he
y'all.
unfolds.
I
He
learned from I
unfolds.
learned from you all, man. I'm learning from y'all. I'm a baby when it comes to this. I got some inherent knowledge, but as far as the teaching, you already know I'm in my infancy, so I'm learning from y'all.
Well, Prophet Nova Drew Ali said, out of the mouth of babes
Yes, sir.
come wisdom.
Yeah.
Islam, wisdom come from out of the mouth of the babes. So we give honors to you, brother. Islamism, we ain't gonna let you get away like that. Islam.
Appreciate you.
I
Now
mean, it's
this,
in you already anyway. It's
oh
already
yeah,
there.
it's in him. Yes, sir. He came with his eyes wide open, seeing, hearing, and knowing the truth.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's one of the moors coming from the realm of generational wealth.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and right here, if you look, and
Kapta.
yeah, this is a grand drawing here when we talk about the lamas and why we refer to the lamas as going within oneself. Because when you go into the Hikapta, or what is some people like to call Coptic, you find that lamas means chamber or the meeting place. So all we getting somewhere. The lamas represent the chamber and the meeting place lets you know that Yehoshua was within his chamber and he met with his higher self within his meeting place. See, it says the thalamus also plays, so to speak, an important role in regulating the states of sleep and wakefulness. It says the thalamic nuclei have strong reciprocal connection with the cerebral cortex, forming the thalamocortical thalamic circuits. For those who don't know, if you ever seen this like maze like design that run through the brain, this is where the gray matter is. This is where you deal with the cerebral cortex and everything else connected and the signals that go throughout the brain. And the sleepfulness and wakefulness also has to do with being able to tap into, one's records, the Akashic records, as some people like to call it, the Book of Allah's Registry of Remembrance. Some people say, be able to astro project or astro travel, so the thalamic measure has a grand drawing bearing on that. You know, this is a powerful drawing, and it said also that these circuits are believed to have been involved with consciousness. See, we're talking about consciousness. The thalamus plays a major role in regulating the arousal and level of awareness and activity. Damage to the thalamus can lead to permanent coma.
Hmm.
You see, and this is why some people are in a state of coma when it comes to dealing with the truth. That's just dealing with knowledge. So we can see the relation as it comes forth. Any brother want to give input on that drawing?
That's just a powerful message within itself.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Always above the neck.
That's right.
Now look at this. It says, what are lamas in Buddhism? Lama, Tibetan Blama, which is superior one. It says in the Tibetan Buddhism, a spiritual leader. So your spiritual leader is in the chamber above your neck. This is why we say every adept is made an adept within the self. It says originally used to translate guru, The Sanskrit are venerable one, and thus applicable only to heads of monasteries. It says, are great teachers. The term is now extended out of courtesy to any respected monk or priest. You see? So though one may be thinking that lamas, one particular individual, no, lamas actually at a degree of unfoldment represents a station. You see? That's powerful.
Yes.
You know, and I'm just showing the scientific connection to the way the brain functions. You know, so you can look at what they call the circle of Willis and the Kemetic Ump. You know, looking at the brain at the center. If you were to take a look here, you know, at the center of this brain, notice you can see an impression of the key, the Ump. Islam.
Islam.
So, you know, all of these things actually have to do with those things that fire up the neurons in the brain, you know, so that the blood can properly flow, so the brain can truly be oxygenated. We have to have knowledge to demonstrate what we call cellular respiration. A lot of people think that we breathe based upon the body, you know, and what we call breathing in and out, breathing exit. No, true breathing is done at the level of cellular respiration. That means that the cells automatically have a mechanism in them, even if you ain't necessarily in the breathing, at the cellular level of our being. You know, holy breath is so powerful, you know, that we can heal ourselves and also heal those in need. So also at the center here in this area, you would also find what is known as the optic thalamus, meaning the light of the chamber. We already talked about the lamas actually being the chamber, you know, the dwelling place, but now we're talking about the optic aspect of it. We're talking about the light of the chamber. Most people like to demonstrate with fiber optics in their vehicle now. You know, they want to put stars in their ceiling and all that type of. But what about putting stars above the neck in the consciousness of oneself? That's a powerful demonstration. The light of the chamber is the inner or third eye situated in the middle of the head. It connects the pineal gland, it says, in pituitary body. Now, many of our people may not know, but if you go into the Piscean records of the Bible, and it said that Jacob wrestled with God on Mount Peniel, this was actually dealing with, you know, the seat of the pineal gland. You see?
Sir.
You got me?
Yes, sir.
So it says the optic nerve starts from this, the eye single. You know, when it say when the eye is single, the body will be single and filled with light. In the Piscean records, it says the amount of light a person is holding is in fact reflected through their eyes. That's why they say the eyes are the windows to the soul. We can look into one's eyes and tell if they have the light within them. You see?
Sir.
That's a powerful demonstration. It says the eyes are the window to the soul. There you go. And the indication of the state of the person. Facts. And we just said Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth, and the heavens is above the neck. So we find that the chamber is above the neck, the master teacher, the superior one, the light, everything. All of these are measures dealing with what goes into the self, family. And so we can even see, if we go into the science and deal with what is called the 12 departments of self-government versus sense government. You see? 12 departments of self-government. And, you know, we already know these particular measures have to do with regulating the brain, the cranial nerves. You got 12 cranial nerves. So this is why, just as you are able to rule your thinking by means of having these 12 cranial nerves on point, you have 12 departments of self-government, you know, that are synonymous with this special drawing. If you go into it metaphysically, this is the government of the self versus the government of the sense. Sense government or self-government? Which one you want? Red pill, blue pill? Islam?
No,
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother Marvin Evans, baby.
that's all. Yeah, that's powerful, bro. Like I'm listening to you. And it just shows. I mean, everything about us is so you say wonderfully and we're so wonderfully and powerfully made. How we go from the physical. This is our connection to our spirit self in
That's right.
actuality. So
That's
that's why
right.
it pays to purify your heart and mind, cause and body. Keep it clean with water. Cause it's all connected.
Yes, sir. And see, when you keep the body clean with water, a lot of people don't know that water is synonymous with knowledge.
Wow.
So you purify your heart and mind and you keep the body clean with water. That's a whole nother measure. We want to give honors to our brother Alsar Kufu again, Shimotepu family, and I'm going to drop this link again for anyone that would like to come on the panel. We'll let y'all up here. So, yeah, this is a powerful drawing, man. When we go into these lessons, family, you ain't going to get these lessons nowhere else when it comes to the Moors. We putting these demonstrations on the manifest. We even have, if you seen the brain a few minutes ago, we can even see the brain, if we were looking at it from the top, is synonymous with, the same way our calendar is, dealing with the circle 7 made manifest. That's a whole nother measure in and of itself, though. This is a powerful drawing. Everything in creation is built and has a reflection within man. That's a powerful demonstration.
Right.
Yes, sir. There was a time for those who are looking at this calendar here, right? Comedically, there was a time, where we were able to live 2,100 years in a state of benevolence. 2,100 years, in a state of science in the fulfillment age. 2,100 years in a state of purity when it came to religion, diligence. All this is a 12-step ladder. We didn't have to study these things or learn or be taught these things because we were already that. So that's why we tell you it's a difference of dealing with the practice, of Islam, and actually living it. So you have to go from a state of practice to the application. You can't practice forever. You got to live this thing out and be what you know.
Sure.
You see people practice for football and basketball game, but they don't be out there practicing when it's time to get down.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And so we can apply that same measure to what we talk about. We can even see once we have knowledge of the state, in our birth, and how we were made, fearlessly and marvelously are we made. See the eagle, lion, ox, and mind? That's where your Elohim come in at. The he is the spirit that unite. That's the ethers. But eagle, lion, ox, and man is the earth, air, water, and fire. So we have the ability to govern ourselves on the elemental plane, and spirit plane as well. That's why we say in the Moorish Holy Quran, man is the Lord of the plane of soul and Lord of the plane of things made manifest. You see? So we can also see how each and every one of these particular deities, comedically, they correspond with certain cell salts in the body by which man is able to heal even his physical if he has the true knowledge of himself. Man, that's a powerful demonstration. But these are other measures dealing with the cell salts, in relation to dealing with one's birth chart, and different elements and so forth and so on. Praise be to Allah. Other measures dealing with the cell salt. It's a lot of knowledge, here, family. Tell you exactly what they do, what these cell salts cultivate within the body, so to speak. Now, if you notice and look here, you can see everything here. We was talking about the brain earlier. See the llamas? You got the hypo, the llamas, a thalamus, pituitary gland. cerebellum. This is the reptilian brain here, they like to refer to it as. You see, you got the medulla oblongata. I call it the medulla. You know, the word of Allah is stored in one of the pons, the midbrain. See, this is really a 3-step ladder right here in the brain stem. And see how they have it here? That's what I was saying earlier. If you go into Kemet, look at that. Yeah, that's powerful. Any measure on that right there, family, so far? And understanding the nature of the llamas and the thalamus and how these things connect spiritually as well as metaphysically, Islam?
Islam, I just want to say I was reading something earlier today, studying on this, our the alphabets, and how, and the hieroglyphs, and how that falcon, how they relate that to God.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Being swift and what have you. You know what I mean? I mean, like our ancestors just was so. I mean, they were so deep.
That's right.
Everything they did was for a reason. Everything they did was for a reason. Wasn't nothing haphazard about it. Wow.
Yeah, that's a powerful demonstration. We just wanted our family to get it. What you think about that, Brother Jay?
Right now, I'm just analyzing it. Really, I'm just taking the images in, and
You see,
yeah,
that's the prime example of what we call as it is above, so it is below. As it is within, so it is without. Even in science, there's a presence in the body known as the pyramids. You see, in the brain. You see? And so what we are showing you, we just showed you the chamber is within. The Lamas or the master teacher is within. The pyramid is within. The Heruphant is within. Heru is within. So, I mean, man has no knowledge of himself. Look at this stuff, man. We can't make this stuff up. There, again, is a picture of the medulla, the pons, and the midbrain. Now look at the king's chamber found in the Great Pyramid. And look at, this particular structure. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's a powerful demonstration. Now, here's another expression dealing with the scarab beetle. Now, we know this is a symbol of eternity. And notice you have all of these measures up here, right? And the scarab beetle is located when looking up from the bottom of the thalamus. The thalamus, it says where we can see what looks identical to a pair of wings surrounding it. And so it ain't strange, family, that all of these things look this way. Our ancestors were very powerful. All this is dealing with what makes up, man himself. Now look at this. These are two serpents that intertwine the staff known as the caduceus. The caduceus is really synonymous with two flows. One the breath flow, one the blood flow. You see, this is the staff of Tahuti. The real meaning behind when it says Moses raised up a serpent in the wilderness. The wilderness is the body. So that's a powerful demonstration. Hold on real quick, Marshall. Give me 1 second. Y'all build real quick.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a powerful message. Like I say, our ancestors, they was in tune with the universe.
Mm-hmm.
They studied.
Yeah.
Man. And that's why they had to do what they had to. That's what they did. What they did to us to kind of break that connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way they could take over, you know. But we're coming back into the power. You know, I mean, we're coming back into the
Yeah.
rule.
Consciousness. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, definitely. Each
Yes,
one reach one. You know, teach
yes,
one.
sir. Yes, sir. We see we got some more of our Moorish kin tapping in. Aki Kaba, Shimatepu, Uncle Ajesanel, also Brother Greg Phillips El Islam. Honors to all the family here that's coming forth. Yeah, we on the manifest, but yeah, these things, these some powerful measures, family. If you go into this, you can see all these, and not only does these things just deal with, because we know Tehuti mean divine mind. You know what I mean? Tehuti is divine mind. He was the one that inscribed, the emerald tablets. He taught man, you know, uh, to write with the pen, so to speak, in Kemet. But also these represent these junctions, which people call chakras. If you go in ancient Kemet, you will see along the Nile the nodes, that are there. There are 7 of them, and all of these represent different temples along the Nile Valley civilization. So the Nile is synonymous with the spine as well. You see what I'm saying? So everything that exists, you know, uh, above exists in reality, so to speak, on the manifest. We can't get past this science. I mean, it's too plain. Islam. So look at what it says here. It says the science of enlightenment. Natural man, a natural thing, must be raised from the level of natural to the supernatural. It says, or order, it says to realize new concepts that lie waiting for recognition above the solar plexus. It says that is above the animal or natural man. The positive pole or being must be lifted up from the kingdom of the earth, animal desire below the solar plexus to the pineal gland, which connects the cerebellum, the temple of the spiritual ego, with the optic thalamus, the third eye. By this regenerative process, millions of dormant cells of the brain are resurrected and set in operation, right? And then it says, man no longer sees through a glass darkly. It says, but with the eye of spiritual understanding. To those who object the linkage of chemistry with astrology, the writer has this to say: the cosmic law is not in the least disturbed by the negative statements of he, ignorant individual. It says those investigations of natural phenomena, he delved deeply to find truth, pay little heed to dabble. Who says I can't understand how the Denver signs can have any relation to the cell salts of the human body? The sole reason that he cannot understand is because he never tried to understand. A little earnest, patient study will open the understanding of anyone possessed of ordinary intelligence and make plain the great truth that the universe, it says, or what the world implies. One verse, it is acceptable. Well, logically follows all the parts except for one things are susceptible to the operation of any part. The human body is an epitome of the cosmos. Each sign of the Dendera, represented by the 12 functions of the body and the position of the sun at birth. Therefore, the cell salt, it says, corresponding to the sign of the Dendera and function of the body is consumed more rapidly than other salts. An extra amount is needed, it says, to supply, because that's actually a misprint. It says a deficiency caused by the sun's influence at that particular time. So this is just telling you the effects of the cell salts on the body as well, intertwined with the blood and the oxygen that moves through the body. So through this knowledge, one is able to, again, resurrect, respirate, ascend, exhume oneself, so to speak. These are powerful measures, family. So there are a whole lot of drawings dealing with even the blood, and how one can go into this, all of these things that deal with us, the cosmic energy, conduit energy, the blood, being a supply for the body, and all of these things can take us to spiritual heights if we look beyond it just being us a ball of flesh. No, we have a higher state of unfoldment that we can come into. All we have to do is go into the self, bear witness to the chamber, bear witness to the teacher within the self, and we can raise our vibration mentally, physically, and spiritually. Islam.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about right here. This is adept science, family. So when you get into the concept of the chakras and you deal with everything as it is, you see, again, you're dealing with that same science, family. You're dealing with the science of the seven. Amin Ra, Tehuti, Ra, solar plexus, Gib, root. Look at that. All this is dealing with mastery, Ma'at, Heru. Did I tell you about that Heruphant? Islam? Yes, sir. This is another. Go ahead, brother. Give us a drawing on that real quick before we go into the next message.
Hey man, right now I'm in a meditation right now. I'm having deep thoughts. I'm trying to figure it out right now. I'm just really seeing how the mind of man is really what manifests on the physical plane. You know what I'm saying? The way you were showing these parallels, even from the eye of Horus that we see within the brain, and the ancient Kemites was able to bring that out and manifest it in a deeper meaning. But really, I guess what I'm trying to communicate is what I initially said. The mind of man is what we see manifesting on the earth. So from that mind, now I'm in meditation on what is the mind a manifestation of, right? So now I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, well, the mind is a manifestation of his design, so to speak, the intelligence. Allah said this right here. He taught man with the pen that in which he know not, and he taught him intelligence. But he also said that his intelligence comprehended the heavens and the earth when he created the seven heavens in the Grand Quran. So that's powerful. So the mind itself comes from divine design. This is Allah's divine design.
That's right.
So this is also where his intelligent designs come from.
Yeah.
Islam. Yeah, Tehuti mean divine mind. That's a powerful drawing. Yeah, what have you to say, Brother Marvin Evers Bay?
Islam. Yeah, well, yeah, it just shows that man and Allah is one.
Right.
That's
right.
I mean, and like we always say, who made you? Allah. I mean, actually, that's what else do you need to know? I mean, in all actuality, everything else is just a manifestation or a different degree to express that.
That's right.
That's why I say
right. That's right. And see, the thing is, as plain as we make it, you have those still who may not get it. You know what I mean? Not this time around.
Right.
Because sometimes doubt must see their God in most cases. You see? So, man, it's a whole bunch of measures in regards to dealing with this drawing. Powerful. And we act almost at the end of this thing, too. Right here, I had come across this, too. And this was a very powerful demonstration here when I seen this. Because we always talk about how the library was destroyed in the Library of Alexandria and so forth and so on. And so I came across this word fez, as we always demonstrate. Fez is actually spelled F-E-Z, but sometimes spelled F-E-S. And so we found out a function in the brain referred to as fez, which is functional electric stimulation. You see? This is the oldest library in the world, family. What are we talking about? You see, early brain development. It ain't what's on the head, it's what's in the head. It says after what is known as neurulation, right? It says the analogy of what they call the pre-thalamus. There it is again, and the thalamus is induced within the neural tube. Data from different vertebrate model organisms support a model in which the interaction between the two transcription factors, FES and OTX, are the decisive importance. FES is expressed in the pre-thalamus, and functional experiments show that FES is required for pre-thalamus formation. Posteriorly, OTX1 and OTX2, it says about the expression of domain of FES, it said are required for proper development of the thalamus. So we see that there's a FES, on the manifest that has to do with the development of the thalamus, the process, right? And so the FES houses, wisdom. The FES is a storehouse of knowledge when we deal with what the physical FES represent. But what about the function of the FES as it relates to functional electric stimulation? This goes back again to the oldest library in the world. If this is a storehouse, well, we have the FES, basically as a representation of such. So you can't destroy this library. They have tried by stopping our people from thinking.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you can't destroy this library like you did the Library of Alexandria. Because in this library is the Book of Allah's registry of remembrance. Islam. Man.
That's right.
What I tell you. So, speaking of the FES, we went back through a lot of this. We don't have to go over the chapter, but we did go into extracting some wisdom from this measure, because the chairman gave us an assignment. So what we find here, I gave what I call the Egyptian adept transliteration of these measures up here. We got a T-square, basically, truth on one side versus falsehood. The truth has to do with the ancient Comedian order and the teachings that we learned through self-mastery to become an Egyptian adept. The falsehood is what we will find in organizations such as Western Freemasonry. It ain't strange that you have the words fatal that surround this inverted star. They'll tell the woman it means the fairest among 10,000 altogether lovely, though. Yeah, so it goes on. Truth equals cause, right? Versus falsehood, it equals effect. Made versus unmade. Begins versus end. And I got all these words up here out of, what we already read. Manifest versus pass away. Reflexes versus vibrations. Appearing versus disappearing. You see, holy breath equals truth. It says, was, and evermore shall be. It cannot change nor pass away. You see, so we learn the difference, between that which perishes and that which is eternal. What would you brothers like to say in regards to dealing with that little T-square I put together?
Oh, you want to go first?
I'm just learning, man. I got nothing on this one. Go ahead, Marvin.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, brother, you're bringing a plethora right now of knowledge and understanding. It's very powerful, very powerful. It just continually adds on, and it just makes one be aware that we have to continually study the self. The prophet says, study the self, and when you have studied the self well, and you would come and ask what to study next. And he would tell you to study the self. You know what I mean? And so this is making it plain right now.
That's right.
That's so much within us, man. We haven't even begun.
That's right. That's right. And if you go here, you can see Well, we went into man as truth and falsehood strangely mixed, and we went into man as the breath made flesh, and so we gave the Egyptian transliteration of this, and man equals truth, which is the higher self.
Right.
Falsehood is the lower self. Man equals the breath made flesh. That's that master of Allah's nature. That's that Moorish American national, MAN, right?
Yes, sir.
It says truth equals Heru, right? And falsehood, which is Sutek, are conjoined in man. So that's Heru and Set battling within man of
Right.
ancient Kemet. It say these two, they strive within man, naught, Sutek, the sins, and truth, Heru, of sins. You see?
Sir.
It says again, Lamas asks, what do you say of power? And we already know these answers because we went through them already, but I gave a transliteration here. Force equals netter. These are the netter. It says the will of Allah, omnipotent, omnipotent, right? It says power equals netteru. It says that will and manifest directed by the breath. There's power of the netter and all made manifest. Nature. So the ethers equal quantum mechanics. And I encourage our family to study the nature of quantum mechanics and what we call string theory, quantum physics, and so forth and so on. So ethers equal quantum mechanics. This is what causes the powers to be. Then the thought of Elohim equals what we call the Shemsi in Tahuti, the clean and pure thought made manifest. You see? Again, we go through all the other questions, then we came drawing from the same questions, gnosis of alt and naught, the knowledge of alt and naught, the gnosis of falsehood and truth, the knowledge of the lower self, the sensing powers of man himself. This is what we are demonstrating. All of this allows us to be healers of ourselves when we become masterminds, when we are able to open these doors of divinity. You feel me? These are the mansions that we talk about. In my Father's house are many mansions.
That's right.
Yeah, all these powers in the gnosis, the know-how. That's in the Father's house. You the house. Remember? Lit is the light of Allah in the house of Allah. It says man is alt. Because it was asking of what of wisdom you had. He said man is alt. All Allah and man are one. Naught is a naught. Power is illusion. Heaven is not above. Hell is not below, but within. In the light of all illusion becomes naught. Allah is all.
That's right.
All are Allah. You see what I'm saying? So this is where one comes into a surety that they know that they are one with the Creator. They know that hell has to do with the way they think, as opposed to, thinking that, this is something where you got a European with some red pantaloons and a pitchfork in his hand, poking you cause you're plump. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. You the God. You the God, man.
Yeah. We the God man. We ain't
Right.
dealing with spookism,
That's right.
So last but not least, down here at the bottom, we also see where it says the surety of the omnipotence of Allah and man, the certainty that man will reach deific life. This is a 3-step ladder belief. What man thinks is the truth. Belief is lost in faith. Faith is what man knows is the truth. We're going back to square one. Faith is lost in fruition. Fruition, man himself is the truth. And when he has reached deific life, when he and Allah is one, that's when he come into a clear conception of who he is. In this family, as you can see here, I showed in Kemet, which is called the boat of Ra. Some people call it Seker or Sakor. You see the 3-step ladder right here. Look at that. You know what I mean? 3-step ladder also synonymous with wisdom, will, and love, which is angel, cherubim, and seraphim. You see 5 above on this particular boat here, which is synonymous with spirit man. Then you see 5 beneath that, and that's the 5 below. But one still manifests that flesh divine when they are conscious. As it is above, so it is below. As it is within, so it is without. The boat is synonymous with the concept of soul. And the immortal virtues always personifies principles being a living manifestation. You know, so I broke it down here to commence what I call the chem esoteric man, the chemistry of man, the omnipotence of man as it concerns his ministry, chemistry, and mystery. I say, as we are doctors of our own divinity and the scientists of our own well being, holistically, let the following inspire you to be the healer that you are, as your true generational wealth is in essence the treasures of your ability to heal the nations. Onkar Jet Seneb, Amin Ra. In other words, life, health, and prosperity be upon you through the hidden one. Life, health, and prosperity hidden within you is the light which sustains the heavens and the earth, family. So that's my end to this special drawing, but it's a powerful measure, family.
It's powerful.
That was going through the adept study of the self and how we make these lessons applicable to the self. Everything else is an illusion. Anything the brother would like to draw upon in regards to dealing with that measure?
I mean, I just tell you, brothers, that was a very powerful demonstration. Period. I mean, like you raised us up. I mean, you made it plain. It's all within us. I mean, we have the ability. All we have to do is will it.
That's right.
And as we will it, then we can be it.
That's right.
Well, why shouldn't we want the best for ourselves? You know what I mean? Why settle for less?
That's right.
We don't want to be in some other man's government. We want to help our own. We own all of this.
Islam.
Come together, brothers.
Make it plain, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Islam. So all of these things are necessary because people say, man, all we do is we sit back and talk. Man, people have to learn. You listen to the European all the time. You see? But our people have to learn these lessons and how to be masterminds before they become any so-called quote-unquote leader of anything. One has to learn how to obey the higher dictates of life, because the closer we are to divinity, family, the closer we are to liberation.
Wow. That's
Islam.
Powerful. That's powerful. Islam.
Yes, sir. Islam, Brother Jay. What have you to say, my brother?
Just want to give you, credit and commend you on your great work and your consistency. You are enlightening us all. I know you stand on the shoulders of giants, but we still also got to give you credit for the work that you put in and then information that you deliver that provide us with insight that we could ponder upon throughout our days. So I just want to give you your flowers right now, man. So we appreciate you.
Well, praise be to Allah, brother. We just trying to do our little part, and be a light, and pass the light and extend the light, because, we can't take none of this with us. You know what I mean?
Sir.
It's all about leaving a mark upon the masses. We don't want them looking at us like we look at some of those who dropped the ball. We want our people to be able to look at us and find strength in us. Even after we leave, we still want to be on the manifest through our works, our ways, our acts, and our deeds. And that's what life is spent to build, a temple of perfected man. One can always visit that special temple and read, the inscriptions upon the wall of that special temple. That's what we are here to do. We are here to build a temple of perfected man. And every time we raise up, each other, each one teach one, this is synonymous with building, the temples. This is temple building.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
We are erecting structures,
That's right.
built upon an impregnable doctrine of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam.
True.
Islam.
Yes, sir. So, is there any other measure y'all would like to bring forth? Because I got a measure I'm gonna read from the Book of Fire before I close this demonstration out.
So we ready for that. I am.
Okay, it's long.
Already.
Yes, sir. And let me pull this down real quick. Looked up. We got a couple of measures up here, family, dealing with the Book of Fire. People, if you don't have this book, you got to get it.
Definitely.
Woman of a Nation.
Definitely. That's a must.
Yeah. The chairman, man, he brought forth 700 pages of straight fire in this demonstration here.
He keeps giving. He keeps giving. Oh man.
Oh yeah, he ain't playing.
That's right.
He ain't playing at all.
Right.
Let me get this thing. This thing here moves so slow. I'm trying not to go past it. Let's see here. I think this right here may be in the area where I'm trying to get. Yeah, here we go. Just have to go back a little bit, probably. Yes, sir, man. I want to give honors to you two brothers, man. And honors to our people, man, that's sitting here that are outside of the panel, but they on the manifest. Want to give honors to all of y'all for everything that y'all do.
Sir, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I want to bring this forth right here. I actually had another portion of it. Want to make sure our family get a clean drawing. You can see exactly where we come from when we build. Okay. Not that one there. I actually start here. I don't know why it ain't got the. Let me let that sit for a second because it should have a reflection.
All them lessons connected up in there, man.
Oh yeah, every lesson all the way up in there. That's how it is. That UNI degree, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
But anyway, this is dealing with, the actual teachings, that go into how we deal with self-mastery and more science. And the chairman was dealing with the 7, in the circle 7. And listen to what he states. He states, because we deal with degrees of 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Those are the measures that we unfold through. But it says the 7th infinite thoughts of Allah, which created everything that ever was. It say is or evermore to be. The ancient Hebrew called these thoughts Elohim. The adepts called them the 7 eyes of Allah. Man called these ether planes the planes of protoplasm, earth, plant, beast, man, angel, and cherubim. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 11, 19 through 38. He said, there are 7 chakras sealed within the human body. These chakras are fixed from the base of the spine upright through the heart of the mind. Yahushua said man couldn't resurrect until the fix is solved. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 17, ayat 37. The ancient Siddha gurus call these the astral body of lights. Each must be lightened with wisdom. See the 3rd eye. There are also 7 signs on the master music scale. All of the audibles heard by the ears of man are the summation of these sounds. 7 colors in the spectrum. These constitute everything seen by the human eyes. Without these colors, the human sentinels are useless. 7 senses for the conscious of man. It says 5 below the eyebrow, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. And 2 above the eyebrows, intuition and telepathy. The 7 degrees in the adept chamber of the Moorish Science Temple of America, AC of the MST of A. 3rd heaven, question 56. The degrees of high consciousness in Drew Ali's 3rd heaven are identical to the ancient Egyptian mystery system developed by the first African gods to be formed in flesh. This origin is held by the old Hebrews, it says, as the story of Adam and Eve. It says, Noble Drew Ali brought these degrees of God attainment in the missing 18 years of Yeshua's life, or Yehoshua's life, omitted from the Bible. The lessons are found in his life works and teachings of Yehoshua by Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali. See Index. 7 degrees of self-mastery to the divine ministry. First degree, sincerity, right? Chapter 14. Second degree, justice, chapter 15. Third degree, faith, chapter 16. Fourth degree, philanthropy, chapter 17. Fifth degree, heroism, chapter 18. Sixth degree, love divine, chapter 19. And seventh degree, the ministry of death, divine ministry. And that's chapter 20, 21, prophethood, and so forth and so on. He said, we cannot omit the Aquarian age as the seventh of time, known and prophesied by the ancient Moorish scientists, which will follow the 2,000-year Piscean age. The Piscean age, symbolized by the sign of the fish, represents the period when man's consciousness would travel by seas and waterways. The number for Piscean age was 6. The number for the Aquarian age is 7. And it represents the time when man's consciousness would travel by air and other ethereal planes. It would do well to note that true Roman Catholic Mass is based upon 7 sacraments: baptism, reconciliation, Eucharist, confirmation, marriage, ordination, and unction, which is anointing of the sick. But it is Christian splinter groups, Protestants, Lutherans, Methodists, it says, etc., went back to the 6, the body of Christ, blood and wine. The original 7 degrees are the ancient god man Ish and the goddess Isha, training lessons of the ancient Moorish and African holistic civilizations. These original his and hers lessons of self-mastery, which are all initiates, upon completion of these holy instructions, were called gods and goddesses. See Adam and Eve. Those who titled themselves as white gods without these courses in divinity are impostors and Moorish imitators. It says the Moorish are the true founders of Islam, Hotep, Islamism. Note, all things created and governed by Allah, the One, derived by the 3, wisdom, will, and love, directed by the holy breath, the 5 principles of actions, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all rest upon the 7. When man is fully conscious of himself, then he and his creator are in fact one. The deification of man now brings us from 1 through the 3, 5, 7 to the 9. The 9 is re-entry. 9 is the triune times 3. According to the ancient science, the 9 is symbolic of re-entry. The 9 is the conscious rebirth of the God-man, when the God-man of truth attains unto himself, and Allah is all. The 9 is the last whole number before new life, life everlasting. 9 is man leaving the perpetual realms of Y to enter his natural state, divine infinity. This numerically marks man's final use for the illusions of time, space, and calculations. The number 9 in the goddess. The woman also symbolizes the life-encompassing power of 9. She sits upon the holy throne of goddess when touched by a god. From this exalted station in 9 months, the goddess can alone create and build a temple for Allah without the sound of the hammer or the use of a nail. The temple is called man. Man means thinker. In Freemasonry, the Moorish goddesses is called the widow. This is because Masons are those disguised as the ruffians, 3 ruffians, that have knocked her African god, Hiram, in the head, leaving him civilly dead. See Freemasonry today. At best, this goddess of the Nile, or 9, being alone with her husband, man, or God is only widow among the nations of the earth. It says, in the United States and its territories, the new African widow is colloquially spoken of as a single mom. It says, or my baby's mama, or self-proclaimed BITCH, single moms. Nevertheless, this widow is another Western misnomer because man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah, and while Allah lives, man cannot die. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah, the husbandman of everything, that is, threw forth his human seed into the soil of soul, and he became a lord of the kingdom, all the kingdom of soul. Thus there can be no widow, because Allah is the husbandman. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 1. No other woman on the planet Mud divinely inherits the title of goddess, save the queens from Africa. The only reason BITCH is applied to her in the USA is because in science, a BITCH is an unprotected female of any species. It says her God man has been displaced and has no current jurisdiction over their children. The 9 being triune times 3 is further illustrated by the 3 stages in the 3 degrees of perfected man. And I'm going to close it out on this little portion here dealing with the adept deification of man. Allah equals wisdom plus will plus love. Prophet equals initiation plus illumination plus perfection. Man equals belief plus faith plus fruition. Through these steps times 3 degrees, the ancient ones perfected the mystery system of Egypt. It was so perfectly developed until it became known as the only straight pathway of perfection, e.g., salvation, redemption, or religion. It is the holistic philosophy of these sciences which became the way of life for the redemption of religion. It is the holistic philosophy of these sciences which became the way of life for the ancient Moors over 25,000 years ago. This is because the first religious creed was that, where it said that was taught in degrees to initiates over a period of 2 to 3 years exoteric, or 12 to 18 years esoteric. Those who were initiated by circumcision and completed the first level of self-mastery received the title Sheikh or Adept. Graduates of the higher degrees received the titles of God, Prophet, Christ, Messiah, and their life works were called the Divine Ministry. Moses, Abraham, Boaz, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, Joseph, John, and Yehoshua, Esau, all received their prophethood from the same Egyptian mystery system. Some, e.g., Melchizedek and Yehoshua, were of virgin birth of adepts and received the highest God degree called Christum. All prophets in Christ were distinguished with their own symbol of perfection, perfected man. Moses received the staff, David the star, Yehoshua the circle 7, and Noble Drew Ali the circle scimitar and star. Each part of a symbol represented a degree of perfection. The logos is the perfect word, the circle is the perfect symbol, and the 7 is the perfect number. Chapter 13, ayat 2 through 5. This is the full lotus of the God in man as taught by the Siddha Guru masters. Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought the Egyptian mystery system in the highest degree ever known to man and bestowed it upon his people, the Moorish Americans. For the first time in 3 ages, 6,000 years have these lessons been given to an entire nation of people by their ancient forefathers. He divinely instructed the Moorish Americans, there is no one who is able to change man from his decent nature of his forefathers. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 47, ayat 11. Being their prophet, his greatest task is to start them to thinking. This ancient system is the old-time religion called Islamism. Questions 17 through 18. It is not in conflict with the perfecting of your religion in the Grand Quran of Muhammad, as brought to his sinful polytheistic people of Mecca and Arabia. In fact, Islamism is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for teaching and instructing all Moorish Americans, etc. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 45, ayat 1. Islam is a perfecting segment of Hotep, Islamism. This is the old time religion which Christians sing for. The Moorish were the ancient Moabites from the land of Canaan and the founders of the holy city of Mecca. Moorish Holy Quran 45 ayat 2 are the true Sunni Muslims, are Muslims. The word Sunni means original, and Muslims are those who submit their will to the will of the great God Allah. The Moorish are also the founders of the first religious creed, Islamism, historically known as the three steps on the master's carpet, the ancient Comedian mystery system. These degrees, once placed upon the three-step ladder of salvation, belief, faith, and fruition, would raise the consciousness of the initiate to the wisdom of self, the higher self. And so we'll stop right there, family. We could have went on, but it's very powerful here. Just going into these measures, family, and it's just a grand draw to deal with the knowledge of what the brother has up here as in know thyself. We are living pyramids, family. We are the temple of perfected man. It don't get no cleaner and purer than that. Islam. So is there any other more that would like to come forth that would give your drawing? All is well if you're out there in the audience, but we're going to let our brother Jay and Marvin close us out. And we just say gratitude, family, for being on the manifest. Islam.
Islam. Well, all I'm gonna say is that we are the return of the ancient ones. Islam.
Islam, my brother. All right, brother Jay.
Yeah, so I'm just at the point where I'm ready to get to work, man. I'm ready to apply knowledge. That's what I'm itching to do, just apply knowledge.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, brothers, definitely stay tuning in, and we look forward to hearing you on the calls, brother, when you come through. And we definitely gonna make that happen. Cause brother, we already see you already. You ready? You on the manifest, ain't he, brother Marvin Ever Bay?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
This
That's
brother
right.
here.
Ready.
Yeah. So, and what state you say you in again, Jay?
Massachusetts.
Okay.
Oh, you up there, huh? Okay.
Yeah, where you about, Marvin?
Huh?
What about you, Marvin?
Oh, I'm in Texas, but I lived in Connecticut. Hartford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know Hartford. Yeah.
Sir. That's all right. And we got a brother in I think he's in Waterbury. Michael
Waterbury,
Yeldell.
Connecticut. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's still Connecticut. Yeah. Well, we got brothers all over. You know what I mean? We all one,
Universal.
sir. Kind of broke up, but So yeah, it'd be good to hear you on the calls, though. Really.
Yeah, I tuned into one. Sometimes it's difficult for me to make it on time, but
Yeah,
I
bro, you
tuned
breaking
into
up.
one. Okay.
You breaking up bad. Can you repeat it? Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you better now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I attended one call. I plan on making more.
Okay.
And that's an everyday thing, correct?
Yes, sir. Every day, 7 days a year.
All right.
Yes, sir. I'll be there. 'Cause I'm there house every day. Give my measures. But like you say, like applying itself. You know what I mean? And that's what we do. You know what I mean? Like every time we come in contact with anyone, we vibrating on such a high level, we can't help but affect the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yes, sir. That's a beautiful thing. Well, it's been a pleasure, though, really. Relating, interacting, communicating with you.
Likewise, brother. Appreciate it, man. This was a great build. Every
Sure.
time our brother steps on to teach, it's very enlightening. And I'd be pondering for days. Like I'll just go for walks, or I'll
Yes,
just sit
sir.
down under the sun and just think.
That's a beautiful thing there. Definitely. That's how you do it. You know, that meditation, man, that's key.
That's right.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Heruphant, what you doing?
Yeah, we give honors to you, brother. I'm just getting us a track to close out the measure with, family, and we just
Oh,
give
okay.
honors to you, brothers. I already know you already lay it down, and I'm
Sure.
finna do the same thing. And man, it's just honor to your family, and we gonna let this little track roll us out. And praise be to the Most High, the great God Allah. And y'all just mute out, and then it won't double play by the time we go out.
All
And
right. Peace and love.
so peace and love, and we love your family, and we're gonna let our family get this good vibe as we go out. Islam,
Islam. Peace.
peace and love.
I don't need no drink, no smoke to regulate me, and my highs are low. Just good vibes, good vibes. My wave is natural stimulation, so formulated in elevation. Good vibes, good vibes. I don't need no drink, no smoke to regulate me, and my highs are low. Just good vibes, good vibes. My wave is natural stimulation, so formulated in elevation. Good vibes, good vibes. When I recollect, I'm the epitome of bliss, cause I'm still breathing with no stress, and it ain't all about a bag, but I'm good with a check, invest it all in the family, then it's on to the next. But every now and then I like to slide through my city. You only live once, YOLO, and I get it. This world will chew you up and spew you out, but no get it. Corporate crooks running cons, undermining my business. I can never take a L when the Lord's my witness. I stay prayed up, but keep that scimitar with me. I was taught to put security on everything I love. Drugs appreciate, so why the pen on the plug? I'm meditating on the profits and not the profits. Cause when I leave here, I leave the shells in the profit. My state is the native plane of my ancestors. I'm indigenous to the land and the spacious as ever. And when I'm burdened, it's easy for me to get away. I got a line of divinity I can vouchsafe and leave the cares of the world all in good faith. With no drama, good vibes, that's a good day. I don't need no drink, no smoke to regulate me, and my eyes are low. Just good vibes, good vibes. My wave is natural stimulation, so formulated in elevation. Good vibes, good vibes. I don't need no drink, no smoke to regulate me, and my eyes are low. Just good vibes, good vibes. My wave is natural stimulation, so formulated in elevation. Good vibes, good vibes.